Hey, it's Empress Rose, and welcome to our collective reading. These are general readings. Take what works, leave what doesn't. We're starting off with some oracle decks. So, let's see here. Oh, all right. We didn't want to do that one first. I see. Oh no. Oh dear. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Right off the bat here. We have can you hear me? Exhausting attempts to communicate, not feeling heard, not feeling understood, maybe even feeling ghosted, feeling abandoned, misunderstood, unheard, feeling unheard. And I think depleted by that, exhausted by that. Calling, but no one responding. This could be about a ghosting situation too. Always painful and difficult, but we're starting to get familiar with, how to deal with those things. That they happen, what's behind them, how to, sort of manage ourselves emotionally so that someone else's behavior is minimal for us. So, and then we have Mermaid's Love. I'm feeling depleted just doing this reading. So, this is like an ideal relationship between two very different people. It's ideal except for one problem. It's unworkable. Not unworkable, no. It has a lot of practical problems to it. They are very much in love. They are very happy, but there's problems here. There's an issue. They can't, this is always from like Fiddler on the Roof, which is not actually, I don't know. Is it a good musical or not? I don't know. It depends on what production you see. But a bird may love a fish, but where will they live? Like, there's just a serious practical problem with this relationship. And this is a little bit like the Lover's card that we can get in the tarot decks, as far as like important decisions need to be made or should be made. I love how this one came out, and now suddenly like my voice is gone after 3 minutes of talking. Can you hear me? So there's just an impossible situation. Someone's more emotional, someone's more intellectual. People have very different approaches to life and to how they make their decisions. And some people apparently really like to just have a plan that makes sense and execute that plan, and other people have to like have it resonate and feel right. So there's just some practical issues here, and choices and sacrifices have to be made. I don't like the bird on this man's hat here. He's wearing this top hat and there's a bird on it, and that bird is definitely not invested in the relationship. So this is the bird man. This is the more it can be male or female, whatever, but one party is more in the masculine energy and all of the sort of stereotypes and archetypes that go on with that energy, and someone's more in like a female energy with all of our current stereotypes and archetypes that go with that. So, but they love each other dearly. It's a meeting of equals for sure. It's not someone's less than or feels less than. It's two that are very equal to each other, and they both have like different dreams and different ways of moving. But there's a sense of they're not communicating right now. They are not communicating. Somebody maybe didn't feel heard or understood. And this could be like friends or coworkers. This does have a very obvious ring of a romantic relationship or a close relationship. But there's communication problems here, and there would be, because there's a lot of practical issues. We also have Rose Garden coming in here. So again, we have like the two things that are again, I don't know where I'm saying again from, but the two different stages. It's almost like there's two different stages present. One stage of this relationship may be more further along than the other stage. So it's like asynchronous development of parts of the relationship. So one part may be way over here, but we're just starting on this other part of the relationship. But overall, Rose Garden talks about a need for boundaries. It talks about thorns. Roses are gorgeous and beautiful, but we just put them out in the world without any breaks on, anything. They're just all the deer are going to eat the roses because they're beautiful and gorgeous. So there is a beautiful, gorgeous dream that's being grown here, but it requires some protection, it requires some thorns, and it requires some boundaries. So with Can You Hear Me? Maybe someone's trying to put up boundaries or express something, and they just don't feel like it's ever getting heard or recognized or acknowledged that, I don't want you to do this. I don't want this. I don't want this to happen like this. And it almost seems like the other party is just not able to hear that, not listening. So the Rose Garden is about boundaries, is about protecting your dreams, protecting your vision, protecting something that you're growing. And that may be what's sort of creating some communication problems in a close relationship. Because boundaries, unless you're kind of used to them, or if they're not well understood, they can be very alienating for people that aren't necessarily used to them, or, yeah. And then change of seasons. Everything's changing all at once. And someone feels very vulnerable with the changes that are going on here, right? We have absolute vulnerability with changes of seasons. So external events creating a sense of feeling very vulnerable. And then these really strong, perhaps even really strong boundaries in reaction to some sort of changes, maybe a change and a transformation in the relationship. Someone's reacting by having extra strong boundaries that actually make the other person feel like they're not being heard. So everything is changing. Everything's up in the air. There's a sense of vulnerability here, but then there's also like a lot of boundaries. So maybe someone in the situation has like really good boundaries, and that's making someone else feel very vulnerable. Maybe some aspect of the relationship is changing, and it's triggering people to feel very vulnerable. Some aspect, this change may be really difficult or just really hard to deal with, the change. And so someone's put up a lot of boundaries, or not necessarily like the healthiest level of boundaries, perhaps. Now reading it backwards is what occurs to me now, is there's some huge changes going on in people's lives, in someone's life, in your life. Somebody is reacting to that by having really good boundaries. This is creating difficulty, and someone's not feeling heard because of it, because maybe the boundaries are a little too much, an overreaction. But it's good to be protective of yourself. It's good to be protective of, we see someone going through a lot of changes and being extremely protective of that. And that's very good, but all right. All right, and let's see about these cards. Maybe, you want to talk about who? Oh, well, this is the spring, a return to a renewal, a destined renewal, being in the flow of things. It's just like a quiet renewal. There's waterfalls here too. A very quiet, contemplative renewal. I'm seeing a lot of like quiet contemplativeness. And so that may be why someone else who wants to be talking more is like, why are you so silent? Why are you so quiet? Because I'm going through some changes. Spring is a season of change of seasons. Spring, we have a big change of seasons, maybe an awakening here. This rose garden almost seems like preparation for changes to come. We've already been through some changes. More changes are coming, and we're preparing for those, very protective of that. So the change of seasons in spring coming out here together is really, really interesting. There's a big seasonal, it's a different season in someone's life is what's coming through here. We have the prophet. So looking for signs, looking for symbols, perhaps even turning to someone. It's interesting because this snake, the serpent, shows up several times in this deck, and sometimes it's very dangerous, addictive behaviors, self-destructive behaviors, but this prophet is someone who can really handle that. It's like someone who can handle, something that other people might be very addicted to. This person is able to deal with it. So maybe someone here can see the future, has a lot of hope in the future, looking for a lot of signs, a lot of synchronicities. There's a sense of playing with fire here with this prophet energy. But there is some sort of prediction or something is foreseen. This change is foreseen for sure. We saw this change already. We know what's coming. It's not random. In a way, it could be like a change of seasons in life. Like we see the people that are older than us going through these changes as well. And we watch them go through them and we look forward to that. And that's one of the things about like having older siblings is you can see someone who's on like a few steps ahead of you, where the first sibling or the first child is just like, okay, there's me and then there's like an adult. And that's like, do I have to be the adult or is that like really just distant, far away? But when we're like in sort of like seeing people just a little further than us, it's a little easier to see and understand. I mean, our lives all unfold at different rates, of course, and different things and different patterns, but there's overall patterns and changes of seasons, right? That we really can't stop and we really can't change. We go from child to puberty. We go from like our brains change from, the young 20-year-old brain to the 30-year-old brain, which is working very differently. And these changes are very natural and normal. We don't have to force them. We don't have to ask them. We don't have to beat ourselves up about not being in menopause and being in this other part of our life and not being in that part of the life or anything like that. We don't have to beat ourselves up because there's just a natural unfolding here. So I think that this change is just something that someone's going through you could have seen this coming. Everyone's seen this coming. Sun bear, healing. There's some healing that happens with spring too. That spring feels very Aquarius to me here. And then, holy crap, the seer. We have the prophet and the seer. Is this two very highly intuitive people? And they've both seen the same thing. And so one's like, what's going on? But there's this exhausted communication. The seer and the prophet, wow. Maybe different skills. Maybe someone's been watching somebody else and the other person is not aware. Like someone's been like with your typical ghosting situation where someone's communicating, reaching out, and someone's just absorbing that, watching it, seeing it. But here we have the seer and the prophet, someone who has observed and someone who has watched. And then there's this healing bear in between here. So this is very powerful to have the seer and the prophet coming out together. This card coming out together, coming out all by itself, just as I picked up the deck. 10 of Pentacles, wealth. So this deck, I've used it for the first time recently. And it's a little different. And I don't know, I'm just kind of curious about what other messages, it's always nice to get a new deck with all new messages, like the same messages, but then different takes on them. And I really like that. So here we have 10 of Pentacles. So the completion, this is wealth, but there's also a sense of community with that wealth. And there's a sense of completion. 10 of Pentacles, 10 is the end, is the completion. So there can be like retirement parties or the end of a job or the end of a situation, having to do a very real world situation coming to to an end, a very successful end, a very successful ending here, where we can enjoy the fruits of our labors. This Ten of Pentacles seems to be very hopeful, though, and not necessarily like, we have arrived, but like, with this tree not having anything on it, it seems like it's both the end and completion. It's already given its leaves. It's already given its fruit. It's already, that aspect is complete. But then, you know, we're prepping for the next season. We're preparing for spring. All right. Underlying for the reading, which seems redundant, but Queen of Cups, emotional energy that is not being spoken of, knowing your own feelings, knowing how you feel in particular. I think we had a Queen heavy reading last week, but knowing how you feel in particular. How does someone feel? It's not necessarily talking about it. It's exploring inner feelings, journaling, dream journals, all of that. Just really exploring yourself and your feelings at depth. You know, coming out of the mud with the emotional learning. The moon here, though, yeah, seeing something very clearly, seeing your emotions very clearly, and being really in touch with them for whatever. It's reminding me of Can You Hear Me, though? Right, because we have the Queen of Cups to me is a silent feeler, someone who's very focused on how they feel in their own emotional journey. And this is someone who's waiting to hear back from someone, waiting to hear some news, waiting to hear, what's the verdict? What do you think? And so I almost feel like these aren't the same, but someone is waiting for this emotional communication that someone is very much still keeping to themselves. So this could feel like a little journal entry here, or sorting through how you feel, maybe even how you feel about each of these individual cards. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. So the thing about this deck, why I bought it years ago and then didn't use it, is it has all the things labeled. And the labels sometimes don't make sense to me and are confusing to me, but we're going to work with them because this was the deck of the day. So in the recent past, this has failure, but I don't necessarily have failure with it. I would say more patience. Seven of Pentacles would be like having done the work, having done something and not getting the results yet. 10 of Pentacles, you get the full results. But at the 7, you're like, is this still coming in? There's still a lot of patience. Then we go to the 8, and the 8's like, there's more work to do. But 7 of Pentacles is like not having, something hasn't appeared yet. The results aren't there yet. And that may actually feel like failure, right? A lot of things, what's this phrase that's been on my social media feeds lately a lot is the last thing to ripen on a tree is the fruit, the last thing. So all of the, the tree, and we already have this tree here, it's gathered a lot of nutrients. It's grown to a certain level of maturity. So we have like these changes. It's grown to a certain level of maturity. And we may not be aware that the fruit is coming, right? Okay, well, I thought this was a lemon tree and now it's flowering. Like, is this a flower tree or a lemon tree? We may not be seeing the signs, understanding the signs, right? We have the seer and the prophet here. So something foretold. This is a lemon tree, but first we have to have the flowers. But if you've never seen a lemon tree or experienced a lemon tree, you may be disappointed by the flowers because those were, oh my gosh, can you hear me? This is wild. I'm just like actively losing my voice while I'm talking to you guys. Okay. So the fruits of your labors haven't appeared yet. Something maybe has appeared, but wasn't what you expected. It's got this whole "can you hear me" vibe. I sent out the call, I sent out the email, I sent out the request, and it hasn't been returned and reciprocated. No one's answered, no one's responded. I'm still waiting here. And it feels like failure because you haven't seen the results of your actions yet. So current situation, virtue, not 100% sure what virtue has to do with Three of Wands, but Three of Wands, They're juggling on the precipice these fireballs, but it also looks like little Pisces fish here, like juggling the Pisces fish. And these Three of Wands, it's typically a lot of faith in the future. But I see it here as a lot of faith in yourself. Passion, being able to handle faith, handle passion. You're holding the faith. It's Seven of Pentacles. You haven't seen the results of your actions yet. Three of Wands, you are still waiting, still faithful, still hoping. You're still waiting to hear from something. You're waiting to hear back. You haven't given up on somebody or something, possibly because you've seen a glimpse of what's possible, or a glimpse of, you've seen something, and you're holding the faith. It's very spiritual. The seer, the prophet, the Three of Wands, very spiritual, faith energy, strong faith, not in a particular religion, but in yourself, in the future, in what you saw. In what you saw at one point and what you experienced at one point. There's a lot of faith in that. And there's a sense of play here too. Playing while you wait. Knowing that although you can't see, and playing with the seeing too. Like you're in the dark here in the desert and you're juggling these flaming wands, flaming sticks. And in that way, having your own, being able to see what's around you. You can't see what's around you. You can't see where this is all going. You can't see what the future holds, except for you hold these little flames that you maybe play with and toy with sometimes. You hold these little flames of hope in the darkness. And you kind of play with them. It's like a little tarot reader, just playing with their cards, just playing with the cards. You're playing with this hope, you're playing with this passion, and it's helping you see, even in this like place where there's no other light. The only light here is you, and your faith. What you wanting? Yeah, Three of Cups, abundance, but this also is like a party. I like the moon here, Queen of Cups. You want to play with your friends. You want to have a party. You want to have a get together. You want to share joys and concerns with your friends. You want to enjoy the company of others. We have you alone in Seven of Pentacles, Three of Wands, holding the faith. But we have you having this vision of being friends with somebody, or being friends, or having a group of friends, or having a party, having something to celebrate, this thing coming to fruition. And maybe this is what you saw, because I put it on top of the seer. Maybe this is what you saw, this really beautiful future, this really beautiful thing coming to fruition. And you're still in the waiting and faith place. And you want to celebrate something, or you want to be friends with this person. You want to, and you're kind of still waiting for them to get back to you, or waiting for some sort of communication or connection. This is what you want. So that means you don't have it yet. So Three of Wands, Three of Cups. And then we have, what's at issue here? Five of Wands, conflict. This feels like suppressed conflict to me. It says strife is what this deck calls it. Strife, yeah. It feels like suppressed strife. Again, with the can you hear me? Silence, like maybe something that should have been discussed. People's passions at odds with each other. Playing with fire in a way, except for it's like strife that has to be suppressed, an argument, a competition. But in the reverse, the traditional reading is that it can be like actually like a physical fight in the reverse. But here I tend to see it as more like suppressed, or I see like passion, but so much unknown about what goes on, what's going on behind that and underneath all that. Kind of looks like an ingrown hair too, like something that should have been like expressed and maybe even plucked, but instead it's like just festering strife that's just not really out in the open. I wonder if we're having communication issues here. What's in your environment? 9 of Pentacles. It says gain. Somebody's successful here. It's funny, it sits next to this like sun card. It's like this is the sunflower gardener, and they made the garden and it has sunflowers, and they have harvested the sunflowers and they are sitting there with their sunflowers. Someone has maybe, I want to say gained insight, although that's not usually what we get with Pentacles. We get like actual like wealth from actual work and things that we've done and things that we've invested in. And it's not the whole, the complete, the 10. It's not the 10, but it's a good distance towards that. It's not over in the environment. The situation is not over. Someone has like reaped a really good harvest here though. And good business. A good business. Business is going well here in gain. Your to-do list is the sun. And I like it because we already have sun bear. So that's reminding me of more the healing message that can come with the sun. Clarity. They're having fun. They're like dressed up and dancing, enjoying themselves. We have all the little signs of the zodiac here. In the sun too. And there's dancing through the fields. We have the butterfly. We have the transformation. You know, and we have rose garden. Here we have a sunflower garden, but we have a garden here. And these two have transformed. They have changed. There is a lot of clarity, a lot of joy, a lot of happiness. Your to-do list is basically to be clear and to have fun. This reminds me of like the Sinead O'Connor's version. Well, that's the version that it's going through my mind. But of the Prince song, Nothing Compares to You. And the doctor said I should have fun. But what does he know, basically? It's been, 11 hours and I don't know what the exact lyrics are. But anyway, nothing compares to you. And it's sort of like, just go have fun. It's the message I'm getting. Try to have fun, healing fun, re-energizing fun, because, just enjoy where you're at. Celebrate. If something's gained, this is almost like celebrating other people's successes. This is the success. This is the full success before the review. And we say this is the happiest card in the deck. I mean, we have 2 people dressed up as butterflies dancing through a flower field. I mean, that's pretty happy. And the sun card is like sort of everything's out in the open. Everything's very clear. Enjoy the clarity. Enjoy. Not everything is always clear. So when we get these moments of clarity and moments of joy, really kind of milk them. They're not going to stay forever. Don't dwell on that while you're in it. Just be in the moment. Be here. Enjoy the sun. Enjoy the day. Just have a good day. It's basically the message here. Have a good day. And then possible outcome. We have the Lovers card, which got an honorable mention as we discussed this card. The Lovers. Choices, decision, protection. Where's that? I thought I saw an angel here, but I guess I did not. Protecting the future. Here we have the serpent around the egg, similar as this prophet right here. We have an eagle. We have a lion. Oh, we have the lion here too on the zodiac. The sun is the Leo, right? But this is the Lovers. There's choices and decisions. Something strikes your fancy. And this is Cupid. This is like very literal, the Lovers. Like we always get the Lovers and it's like this, perfect couple, this lovely couple, but choices have to be made, sacrifices have to be made. But this just looks, we've got Cupid like take an aim here, a passion comes forward. Maybe something you didn't know that you wanted or you didn't know that you liked. Something, a new passion, being introduced to a new passion. Or, I mean, this just really looks like these guys figure it out. It's hard, it's difficult. We have cups, we have the Queen of Cups here. Her emotions, her feelings, actually it is the same person. We have the Queen of Cups here. Embracing maybe it's like embracing their decision, embracing their heart, embracing like what they wanted, acknowledging what they want and embracing it, understanding that there may be issues and complexities and difficulties, but sticking with what they want, what they love. All right, and then we have these cards right here. I'm gonna do it's like, okay, so the Sun card comes before the Lovers card. So there's this sense of like, and then we have 3, 3, 9, and 6. So you've been waiting. Just be happy. And then the choice comes. There's a choice that's coming. Or decision point. Scarab beetle, magic works through you. This is the scarab beetle can be very quick change. Obviously very sacred to the Egyptians. Magic, renewal, new life, eternal life. Magic works through you. There's something that you're doing, right? And I see that with the seer, the prophet, the Three of Wands, you being part of some sort of magical change, right? Change of seasons. The scarab beetle is all about change, but there's something that you're doing. There's something that you do that creates this change. And with the scarab beetle, I want to say that you're not necessarily, it is just your nature. It is not necessarily like, it's not necessarily something that you're doing. You're making someone else change. But there's something that you do that creates the change in the situation. Because we have change of seasons. We have the spring. We have sun bear. We have healing. And that magic works through you. You're an agent of magic. And then we have bat spirit. A rebirth is assured. That's wild, actually. I mean, you've been waiting a long time for something, and it actually looked at certain points that it was not going to work. But a rebirth is assured. This also is talking about, this is the seer energy as well, in my opinion. And with the scarab beetle, I was getting a lot of the rebirth off of that. We have sun bear. But seeing, right, the bat, seeing in its own very unique way in the dark always reminds me of the seer energy, seeing something not in not a normal way, and not seeing something like dreaming something or seeing something, but not, right, how we all see with our eyeballs, but seeing something different, differently, both by, the upside downness, seeing something from a different perspective, and also the functioning in the dark through sonar and understanding your environment through feelings, which we have here, understanding something through vibe and feeling. Well, I guess seeing is also vibe, because those wavelengths are all at different wavelengths, and that's what creates the color for us. But seeing something very differently, seeing in the dark, and the seer energy is reminding me of that. So bat, spirit, a rebirth is assured. Okay, so something that you worked on in the past, things are changing, big changes, permanent changes. This one always reminds me of, like, this is in a way the puberty card, which we were already talking about with these changes and stuff like that, and the different phases in life. It's like you can't go back. Once this change happens to you, and that's what I want to say, once this change happens to you, you don't go back, and that's could be creating senses of insecurity and, you know, and I also see, I'm hearing you'll be fine. You just have good boundaries, you'll be fine. You know, don't forget yourself, don't forget your gifts, you'll be fine. Magic of the moon to manifest. I love this because we had this here. Magic of the moon to manifest. Just as the light of the moon ebbs and flows, all things happen according to a timing that benefits the greater garden of life. I love this. The stages, the greater timing. How short-lived that garden would seem if all the flowers bloomed at once and then it was over. As the next full moon grows, set your intention. Your time for blossoming is near. So the cycles that we go through in life, the change of the seasons, the inevitable changes that come to our lives. There is a sense of inevitability here, of waiting a long time. All right, well, just be happy for now. All right, so change is coming, a new change, a new phase in your life. So, all right, I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me for these readings. I very much appreciate it, and we'll chat again later. Bye.